what's up? Today, I'm gonna show you guys how to make a delicious and easy ground beef stroganoff from scratch. It's equal parts North American mom and Eastern European. Two groups of people who happen to know a lot about making delicious comfort food. To get started, I'll need some beef. For stroganoff, I prefer an 85-15 blend. 80-20 is too fatty considering the amount of cream that's gonna be in this dish, and 90-10 gets dried out with the method that I'm about to use to cook it. Now to prep this for the strog, I'll flip it onto a sheet tray, then smush it into a sheet. I wanna spread this out until it's about a 1/4 inch thick and covers most of the surface area of this sheet tray. Once it's spread out, I'll generously season the top side with salt, about 2 teaspoons give or take, and then the same amount of black pepper. Don't be shy. This is 2 pounds of meat, so it can take quite a bit of seasoning. Next, I'll load this meat sheet under my broiler and roast it on high for 10 to 15 minutes. This method is both cleaner and more passive than browning ground beef on the stovetop. Cooking ground beef up top requires 15 to 20 minutes of constant stirring and mashing, not to mention it's real splattery and a total mess. This meat sheet does its own thing under the broiler without supervision so that I have time to prep the veggies and everything else. Speaking of veggies, I'll grab 1 whole white onion and then give it a small to medium dice. No need for precision on the size here because this onion is going to be cooked until it's fully tender and it's going to melt into the background of the sauce. Next is garlic. I'll just smash 4 to 5 cloves of it through my garlic press. In total, I'll need about 20 grams. Now, my last little bit of knife work is to cut 1 pound or 450 grams of baby Bella mushrooms. This pound was particularly dirty with mushroom growing medium. To get rid of it, I just like to brush it off with a damp paper towel. Don't soak or rinse your mushrooms to clean them off because that sogs them up with water, making them very hard to brown later on. And once I've got all my knife work done, it's time to check back in on the beef. After about 12 minutes under this ripping hot broiler, you can see the top side of this sheet is mucho well browned. And I can tell you that it smells almost exactly like a flame grilled Whopper. Another reason that I love this method over stovetop browning is just the sheer amount of crust that you're able to achieve with the broiler. In a pot on the stove, this beef would be constantly letting out its water as it sears, which would turn to steam and then mostly prevent this kind of browning, especially if there's more than 1 pound of meat in the pot. And after a quick 5-minute cool down, I'll come back and crumble this broiled beef. I want to break it down pretty far because the smaller, crumblier beef has more surface area to carry the delicious mushroom cream sauce that we're working on. Plus, large and chunky ground beef is punishingly dry to eat and no fun. And once this meat is finally crumbled down like this, it's time to cook this thing. So I'll grab a large, heavy bottom pot and drop it on the stove over medium-high heat. Once it's hot, in goes a long squiggy of olive oil, maybe 3 tablespoons. Then I'll add in all of my sliced mushrooms along with a small pinch of salt. From here, I'll just stir everything to combine and let these mushrooms saute for 2 to 3 minutes. Eventually, they'll let go of some of their water and I'll cook that down for 2 to 3 minutes until the pot is dry. At that point, the mushroom should be well browned and softened. So next, I'll add in my diced onion, my garlic, and then another tiny pinch of salt. This little bit of salt is going to help draw some water out of the onions, and that's going to be useful to deglaze the mushroom stuff that's stuck on the bottom of the pot, but also it's going to create steam that will raise the intensity of the heat in the pot, softening the onions and garlic much faster than if we hadn't used salt at all. Next, in goes 25 grams of tomato paste and 50 grams of all-purpose flour. Next, I'll come back with my wooden spoon, stir that up, and integrate the flour with the aromatics in the mushrooms and bloom out the tomato paste. And after about 1 to 2 minutes, the tomato paste is rusty and the flour is all mixed in. So next I'll add in 175 grams or 1 large glass's worth of white wine and stir that in. As some of you guys already know, I prefer Bodebox Chardonnay because it's cheap, dry, and tastes like white wine. Using a $30 bottle here might feel like you're buying yourself some additional wine flavor, but you're not. The box is the best, you guys. Now, I'll just stir in the wine, scrape up some of that flour, and then reduce this until the wine is mostly gone. That'll take about a minute or so. Next, in goes 40 grams of worch, then all of my cooking liquid. What's in the liquid? Well, to make it into a small bowl, I combine 500 grams of water, then 3 packets of powdered gelatin. These are going to approximate that body and silky mouthfeel that you'd get from using a slow simmered homemade broth. Lastly, to further approximate homemade broth, I'll add in 50 grams of Better Than Bouillon roasted beef base. These days, I tend to recommend bouillon over store-bought broth because, let's face it, store-bought broth is not flavorful. Plus, the alternative of making your own meat stock at home is time-consuming and pretty expensive. Of course, if you want to take on the adventure of roasted meat stock, I support you, and I will link to a video down below where I go into full detail on how to do that from scratch. But for the rest of us mortals who don't want to spend their Saturdays boiling bones, Better Than Bouillon is a great option and also conveniently the sponsor of this video. To be 100% clear, I would have used this product in this video regardless of any Better Than Bouillon sponsorship. Cut to the over a dozen videos where I call out Better Than Bouillon by name and use the product in the video for free. This truly is one of my favorite pantry items of all time, and I find it really easy to recommend to you guys because, in my opinion, Better Than Bouillon is one of the best ways to add depth of flavor to your dishes when you're in a hurry. Think beef base for bringing depth to a quick one-pot spaghetti, or chicken base in a 15-minute chicken soup. But I also like to add it to stir fries, sauces, or even marinades. Plus, Better Than Bouillon comes in a ton of other delicious flavors. They've got roasted chicken, veggie, roasted garlic, lobster, and even sauteed onion, which is a no-brainer. I'm always spending tons of time cooking onions to build flavor. You can find all the major flavors of Better Than Bouillon in the soup aisle of most grocery stores, or head to betterthanbouillon.com and there you'll find all the cool specialty flavors. When you go to the site, you can use my code Brian to get free shipping on 2 or more jars. Now, once I've got my cooking liquid in the pot, I'll bring the whole thing up to a simmer. That'll gelatinize the starch in the flour and thicken things up nicely. From here, I'll add in all of my crumbled down beef, making sure to get any fat or drippings that are on the sheet tray into the pot. Next, I'll stir that beef in and bring everything up to a low simmer one more time. From here, I'll slowly reduce this beefy gravy for about 10 minutes to thicken it up and to melt in the beef. While that cooks, it's time for pasta. Into a large pot of boiling water, I'll add in 2 big grips of salt, then I'll add in 12 ounces or 340 grams of egg noodles. I like these over more traditional pasta shapes like fusilli because they're quite thin and really curly, just like the ones that come in the hamburger helper box. I did try this version with regular fusilli and a few other shapes, and it just didn't hit right. Those versions were way more about the pasta than they were the creamy ground beef gravy. These egg noodles unify with that sauce, leading to more of a casserole vibe than a ground beef pasta dish. And after a quick 10-minute boil, I'll come back and taste for doneness. Just past al dente, that's what I'm looking for. I definitely don't want toothsome noodles in this dish. This one is all about soft. Next, I'll drain off the pasta water, then shock the pasta with a quick spray of cold water to help stop it from overcooking. From here, I'll add in a long squeezer of olive oil, then stir everything to combine. Back at the stove, this sauce has reduced by about half, so next in goes 225 grams of heavy cream. I'll stir to combine, then bring the whole pot to a simmer and reduce for 10 minutes, stirring every 2 minutes or so. And after a quick 10-minute reduction, the sauce has thickened up quite a bit. As you can see, when I push my spoon through it, it leaves a long trail. That's good. For this sauce, thicker tends to be better than thin. Now to finish this, I'll add in 75 grams of sour cream, 30 grams of Dijon mustard, then 4 to 5 grams of ground black pepper. The 3 of these together are going to bring this very rich, meaty dish into a bright focus. The sour cream and mustard bring some twang and acidity, which cuts through the fat, and the black pepper adds a little bit of punch. The final texture here should be creamy, homogeneous, and just a little bit thicker than you'd think. Now to finish, I'll grab all of my cooked egg noodles and dump them right into the pot. From here, I'll gently fold and toss everything to combine. The sauce should be thick enough to grip the noodles without sliding off, and there should be a ratio of roughly 1-to-1 noodles to sauce, which is actually kind of absurd. No Italian would sign off on this much meat per unit of pasta. Good thing this isn't an Italian dish. Now, once this pasta is unified with the creamy gravy, I'll spoon a huge portion of it onto a plate. And then to add a little bit of freshness, I'll top it with some fresh dill and minced chives. Can I get a hell frickin' yes? Look at this thing. This dish is a food hug. It's strategically designed to change your state from cold and lonely to happy, warm, and content. It's earthy, creamy, supremely beefy, and hearty, but it's not dumpy or heavy. It's the opposite of fancy, and I love it. Just like I love this video for grown-up sloppy joes. It's like this stroganoff in that it's a refined but easy to make version of the one that your mom made when you were a kid. Let's eat this thing!